Hey guys, it's Andre again, and in this video we're going to be talking about while loops. So what is a loop in programming? In programming, a loop is a way of doing many things over and over again. A while loop is a very simple way of doing that. The way that a while loop works is as follows. While a condition is true, so while, and then you put some parentheses, and then you have a condition that you wish to evaluate. Then we're going to do open and close curly braces. So now, while that condition is true, we're going to be doing stuff. So do stuff. And then as soon as the condition is no longer true, then the computer is going to continue on with other code. So the computer says, hey, I'm in a while loop. Is the condition true? Yes, if so. Go ahead and run that code and then evaluate the condition again. Is the condition still true? Yes. Well, keep going until the condition is no longer true. When the condition is no longer true, it's going to jump out of the while loop and continue on with other code. So let's go ahead and do a really quick example. I'm going to do the same example here with while loops as I am for for loops, so we can see how the two work. They're very similar concepts, they're just different ways of representing the same kind of thing. So in our case, we are a really bad student, and in class we get detention, and the teacher makes us write, I will not talk in class 100 times. So we're going to be able to do this instantaneously. The computer is really fast and it can write I will not talk in class millions of times a second. So let's go ahead and do that ourselves. So what we're going to need is a variable like a counter. So at the very top of our while loop, right before the while loop, we're going to declare a variable called counter and set it equal to 0. So inside of our while loop, we have a condition that we wish to evaluate. The condition for us to evaluate is while counter is less than 100. So while counter is less than 100, we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff. So while counter is less than 100, we want to console.log, I will not talk in class. Okay, great. Now we need to do something which will move our condition, will move us closer to the terminating conditions of the loop. If we were to run this code as it is right now, this loop will run on forever because counter will always be less than 100. So if we were to do this, what we need to do is we need to add 1 to counter. So if we do counter plus plus, this will add 1 to the counter variable. For those of you that are not familiar, plus plus is a way of taking the value of a variable and simply adding 1 to it. And it does this after the value is accessed. You could also do it as follows with plus plus counter, where it increments the value beforehand. But in our case, we want to do it after we access the value of counter. Another way of saying this is simply counter equals counter plus 1. So I'm going to go with this so it's less confusing to you guys and you guys can understand what is happening. So when I run this code, we're going to see the following. We get I will not talk in class printed out 100 different times. Now another cool thing that we could do is we could print out the value of counter. So we can do counter plus I will not talk in class, and we'll get all of the different values. I'm going to put a little period next to it so we can have some nice formatting. Let's run this one more time and see what happens. There we go. So in our case, we get values from 0 to 99. Now let's talk about why it is from 0 to 99. I put the first value of counter to 0. So the initial value of counter is set to 0. And then the condition here is while counter is less than 100. So 99 is less than 100, and then whenever the loop gets to the case where counter is 100, then we have a case where 100 is no longer less than 100. 100 is actually equal to 100, so the loop must terminate. So I hope you guys got a lot out of this. It's an easy way of expressing iteration and ways of doing things over and over again on the computer. In our next example, we're going to go over for loops and how to actually do the exact same thing.